Hey, welcome Spokane Netrunners. This is game one from the Spokane Downtown Uncle Store Championship, and I have with me Steven. How you doing, Steven?
Doing great, Nate. How are you today?
I am awesome, man. So Steven is one of our local players that plays with us, and he will have one of his own games casted, but today we are casting a game between myself on the left and Jeff on the right. So this is a game between Blue Sun and Kit. Steven, what do you think about this matchup?
Definitely knowing your deck, it's going to be hard to find agendas, and definitely I feel like lots of big code gates are going on the outside of the servers.
What kind of big cookies do you think I'm running in this deck, Steven?
Let's see. I think it's the new astrological. No, not the astrological one, but the. See, this is me being bad.
The astrological ice. We have Taurus and Cancer.
Yeah, Taurus, Tropic of.
So yeah, this is a Blue Sun deck I brought, and I won't spoil exactly what the contents of the deck are. We'll just have to see what it is. And this is the first time I've ever actually seen Jeff bring Kit to anything. He very rarely plays her. But I was a little bit shocked at what he brought. It was quite powerful. So the game starts out a little bit slow. Just hedge fund ice over R&D, and then we got a sure gamble, and I drop my ice on the ground and swap it with an ace from my sleeve. An ace wall. No, I'm just kidding. It's an ice wall. I do like to throw down ice walls over our when I'm playing against Kit on the most valuable servers because I can advance it if she tries to parasite it, and then I can throw a code gate in front of it.
Yeah, and that looks like restructure ice over HQ. And the card that you rarely see anyone playing, but Jeff loves, is Capstone.
You know what's interesting is nobody likes Capstone except for Jeff, but I mean he got maybe 4 card draw out of it this game.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a niche hardware. You don't see a lot of that.
What's interesting is if you're running a deck where you're running just multiple copies of the same type of cards, such as Torch or Magnum Opus, then it just lets those formerly dead cards be nothing at all.
That is true, but I feel like there's so many hardwares that you do actually want to install and not trash, like clone chips. Really, the only thing I want to trash when I have a Capstone on is Capstone.
It's not just hardware. I thought it was also programs.
Oh yes, it is programs as well. So I guess that does make sense, especially if you have recursion. You could dump like the other copies of Torch, for instance.
Any number of cards. It's any card type.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That you have duplicates.
Yeah.
So like Katie Jones, whatever. It looks like I go ahead and throw an oversighted curtain wall, knowing that he has a torch because he has no money. So even if he clicks for 4, it's pretty hard for him to get through that curtain wall.
Yeah, that's a good play right there. Using the moment when he's got no credits to get a lot of money back.
That's kind of just a weakness of Torch. If he had kept himself a little higher on money, that wouldn't have been so easy for me to do.
And then it looks like he drops the same old thing there at the end of the turn.
And I'll access 1 card.
He steals it.
And that's a high-risk investment, which is very bad for me. I do not want him stealing. You can actually see I have a punitive Counter-Strike in hand. But I don't have 2, which is what I need to kill him. So that's absolutely no fun. You can also see I have a patch in hand and a Grendel refinery.
Yeah, I remember the patch definitely can work with some of the ice in your deck once you get them out over like HQ or making Eli's really annoying to break through, or Architects.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't really been impressed with it when I played with this deck. I tried it. I grabbed this deck from online. Someone said, "Hey, you know what? Try patch. It's really good." So I tried it out. I didn't really like how it worked out in this deck. And you can see, actually, the top card I have in my deck there is a Chrysium Grid.
Hmm.
There's seems like a good card in this meta.
I agree with you. I think so. Against this matchup, maybe I'd be more afraid of some Shaper attacks on R&D. But I know Jeff hates Account Siphon, and not a lot of people run Account Siphon except maybe Will or a few other people at our store.
Yeah, I don't think I was worried. I was going to install it on HQ just to get it out of my hand, because I don't even really expect him to be running, like, indexing.
Yeah.
What I was really concerned about was him maybe including, like, a one-off vamp in kit. We can see he doesn't have that, but we can't see what he does have.
That's true. No, that's definitely a risk. But the thing about Vamp, he does have same old thing, so he could recur it. It just seems like that's a lot of influence when she's less influence than other runners have.
Yeah, that's like basically Kit's account side. It's pretty good in certain matchups. When you need to control the corpse money, it is a powerful card. Especially if you get Magnum Opus and you just click for 8, like 3 or 4 turns in a row, and then vamp them to 0.
Yeah, and it looks like when we saw a peek at his hand there that he does have, I believe, Spooned, which is what he can break. If the first code gate he breaks will trash it, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to see what Jeff has included here. He's running a Kit Spooned deck. And this is really interesting because I've been considering the value of a Kit Spoon deck, and I didn't really like it. It's too much influence. I think that there are some things that Kit needs: Parasite, Data Sucker, Vamp, in my opinion, Femme Fatale, and if you're running Spooned, you can't fit all those things in there.
Yeah, you
but
lose some of your...
I mean, on the other hand, you're running Torch, right? You can just pound through a server, no problem with Spooned.
Yeah, it
So,
looks like he got the Magnum.
Yeah, how many runs has he made so far in this game successfully? You think he's only made 1, right?
Yes, and that turn when he could have checked your hand, I believe he didn't make a run at all.
I mean, who needs to run the hand, right? You're a shaper. It's all about just running R&D.
There you go. Well,
Why would I run HQ when I could build a rig?
Well, when you're holding the agendas in your hand, that's when you're sad you didn't run the hand.
Well, I don't actually think I have any agendas in hand at this time. That is a Lotus Field.
Unfortunately, against Torch, not that great, but at least it makes it so he can't get through.
Yep. It's a oh no, so I do have an agenda in hand actually. I think that's a cleaners and just doing some drawing. I'm pretty sure at this point there's a card in my deck that I do not want him to see. So I'm digging for it. And
Yes,
Beanstalk, what was that, Steven?
Oh, I was going to say the combo, I think I remember the deck you're running, the combo you have right now, so I won't spoil it either until it shows up. But
Magnum for 1 and for 2. Okay.
All spoilers, man.
Yeah.
And I can't actually see. Oh, that's a Susanoo in my hand right now. Oh, okay. So Jeff plays Tinkering on Ice Wall, and then he plays Spooned on R&D. So this is basically going to get the Lotus Field trashed, and then he's going to be able to pay through the Ice Wall and access a card. And he sees an Ice Wall, which I'm sure he would prefer not to see, because we all know where that's going to go.
Yep, right over the other Ice Wall, probably.
I think I have 3 patches in hand right now. Oh, that is, that's not an Ice Wall. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah, so the Ice Wall does go over R&D, but not in the middle. Ah, so we can see Jeff didn't include 3 spoons. He threw in some I've had worses, which is a pretty good include. It's only 1 influence, isn't it?
Yeah, only 1 influence. He can use it to draw cards. I don't know if he's running Diesel and I've had worse, which...
He is, actually. He is.
Yeah.
So that makes Capstone kind of almost a little bit better, because his strategy is to just draw a bunch of cards and then dump out all the cards he doesn't want and then throw it on his rig really fast in maybe 1 turn.
Let's draw.
Instead of what a lot of people would do is they would overdraw and then they would discard the duplicates after overdrawing, and he's actually making use of the overdraw with Capstone.
That's true. Then he can just trash it, draw new cards, hopefully.
And yeah, obviously the Capstone gets rid of itself too.
Yes, yeah. If you're running 3 copies of it or 2, you can dump the other one.
And I am just completely loaded. That's great.
Yeah,
So I just remembered there is a reason I'd put Chrysium Grid onto HQ, and I bet you can imagine what that would be after installing. But maybe not. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So, you know what's interesting is I have about 26 credits right now. And people say Blue Sun makes money, but they don't really make money as much as they recover money that they've spent. So basically, I have to play so that all of the money I have is enough to do everything I want to do for the rest of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you played one of your patches on the ice wall. Res the off the grid finally.
And here's one of the big weaknesses of this deck, running an off-the-grid deck, is I basically have to protect HQ with reasonably taxing ice, and then I also have to protect R&D with reasonably taxing ice, and then I don't have to protect my remote. But you need a lot of money to do it. I think I'm preparing for a Grendel Refinery play here.
I'm going to Capstone for 1, these 2.
Oh, and he uses Capstone there, trashing a Torch and a Capstone to draw 2 more cards.
Trash any number.
And now he's explaining to me how Capstone works, because...
You're like, wait, what did you just do?
What did you do? His Capstone was basically a diesel. Wow.
You know, in certain situations, I could see it working. It's just, it's definitely a very shapery card.
It is. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on if you're going for a type of shaper where you have a lot of the same things, or if you're going for the Silver Bullet kind of shaper where you're running like one of a bunch of different things and then maybe 3 self-modifying codes. We call it Professor-style shaper.
Pretty much, Professor.
So yeah, I don't even know what to do with this patch, so I just throw it on my ice wall. Doesn't even really do anything. So what's interesting about off the grid in Blue Sun is that you can recover it with the Blue Sun's ability. That makes the card way better. Because if he makes a run on HQ, that's 6 credits down the hole.
There's the other ice wall.
And we just pop up an ice wall. So now he can't get through unless he plays Tinkering on the inner ice wall. So he jacks out. So I have successfully blocked him from 2 runs, and he's successfully made 2 runs so far on R&D.
Jeff is definitely a guy who likes to build up his rig, get lots of money, and then attack you instead of probing runs earlier in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely his style.
Let's do install.
And again, he goes down to really few credits. I believe it's only 1 credit. And then you install advance something, and I don't think there's any way you can even get into HQ right now. He could get into HQ.
Well, if I have a curtain wall, I can't res the Chrysium.
That's true.
So if I have 2 very expensive ice on HQ, he could get in, and I think that's kind of a mistake with me being not familiar with this deck. Is that if I place the wrong ice over HQ, then I lose the off the grid, which is really, really bad. So he's going to make a run on HQ here. And what is it? I think it's a curtain wall. I think if it is a curtain wall, I can res it, and then at the beginning of my turn, pull the off the grid. But if it's a curtain wall, I think he can afford to get in with Torch.
Yeah. Well,
maybe not. He only has 4.
Yeah, you decline to res there. It looks like you might be resing the innermost piece of ice, or considering it.
Oh, it's a curtain wall. I see. I had messed up my ice placement. I wanted to get the curtain wall out of the way.
Strength 6 now.
So it's strength 6, so he still cannot afford to break it, actually.
3 subs.
Yeah, it's 2 to boost and 1 to break there with the torch.
Just all in the run, right?
All in the run.
Or 3 to break,
Okay,
since
and
they're
so bounce me out.
3 subroutines.
2 to boost, 3 to break, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's 1 credit short. So at the beginning of my turn, I'll pull the curtain wall back. And gain, I didn't even take the money for it.
Hopefully you think about it here.
Right, that would be good.
Yeah, now you can reposition the curtain wall. which
There
is
we
pretty
go.
good.
Hey, wow, look at that. You get money for using Blue Sun's ability? That's fantastic. And so, now I have to choose between doing whatever it is I'm going to do with that remote or reinstalling the curtain wall. Either way, I basically lose the off the grid. But looks like I go ahead for the advance, and score Utopia Shard.
Nice.
So this is a fantastic agenda in this deck because we've noticed I'm only running 3-point agendas here. So this makes stealing an agenda very expensive for him, even if he does manage to trash off the grid.
Yeah, because with those big agendas, you have to advance them so many times. It certainly makes it for an expensive run. And a very expensive steal.
Magnum for 2. And we'll same old thing.
So he's going to use same old thing on...
Spoon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he double magnums and then he same old thing spoons on R&D.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah, I had 6 knives.
Okay, so break this for 1.
And then we lose the ice wall. So the ice wall's doing itself some work. That's great.
Yeah, he's really burning through a lot of his different combo pieces just trying to kill ice walls. I mean, you should feel not too stressed about that.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And so now I'm trying to decide. I drew an oversight when I drew that curtain wall. I'm trying to decide where I want to put that, or even if I can afford to put that. And here is what I think to be. I think if I'm doing what I think I'm doing here. Maybe I'm changing my mind. I don't want to do that. Never mind. Let's just protect that off the grid in a remote.
I think that's what happens though when you're experimenting with a new deck. You just kind of got to work through the kinks of it.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, I put the. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can prevent him from trashing my curtain wall. So what I do is I put it off. I put it on the off the grid server. He can't run that server until he runs HQ.
That's true.
And whatever that piece of ice is that's protecting HQ, he still can't do them both in the same turn because he can only turn one into a code gate.
And you've got enough to res the Cresium grid, so it's going to protect that server for at least one run.
We will tinker that.
So he plays a tinkering on the inner ice wall,
And 12 will run.
and then he installed an RDI at the beginning of the turn, and then he makes a run on R&D.
Susanu.
Oh, and there's the Susanoo.
So that's a Susanoo.
Nice.
So that costs him 4 to break. And then he pays 1 to break the ice wall.
Wait, how much did you have?
Oh, no. So he pays 4 to break the Susanoo here, so he has 1 left over. I'm actually asking him. I didn't watch how carefully he spent his money, so we're arguing about how much money he has to spend here.
I see.
Oh, these.
But he actually did it right the first time. I just misunderstood him. He hadn't encountered the ice wall yet.
5, 6, 7.
So he'll actually have the exact amount of money he needs.
I gotcha. So you had.
I had to break that.
Gotcha. I understand. Sorry, my apologies. I thought you were breaking the ice wall,
No.
and I was
I'm
like,
only doing that first ice.
there's one more. Gotcha.
And I think he took off of Katie before he made this run, so 3 extra credits to make this run, which put him at just the right amount. Spend 1 to break, and he accesses 2 cards. Oh, and what's that? Oh no,
Wow, steals another agenda.
that's the government takeover.
Oh, the government takeover, wow. Yep.
Yeah, look at that. It betrayed me.
Oof.
So, I mean, that's fine.
So yeah, I had the punitive, and I might have even had the other punitive actually.
There's 2 agendas in here.
And I'm pretty sure I had 2 agendas in hand. Yeah, so there were only 2 agendas left in R&D. One which is a government takeover, and the other one which is a
Oh, are
3-pointer.
you serious? What? Yeah.
And if he had hit the other one, I would have had the double punitive ready.
It looks like he just went through probably the safer run, which is just checking R&D, getting in.
Yeah, and that's part of the way this deck works. Is you kind of getting an early agenda stolen is really crippling, because you either want to bait them into stealing 6 points in one turn, or have a lot of money in both punitives when they steal a 3-pointer. But he managed to just grab one of those 3-pointers off the top and then hit the government takeover. So that's how it goes.
The government takeover, I feel like it's sort of a dream situation. You want to either bait it out or have it so they can't steal it because you've scored the Utopia shard.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just leave it out there and you have more money and they have no points, and then you punitive when they do steal it.
So there were two in my hand, so there were 2 left.
It's one of those situations where you're like, man, the odds should be that he can't steal that agenda, but then it happens.
Right, and then sometimes it happens. That's cool. You know, sometimes it happens. So you know what? That's really awesome because you know, Jeff got a win on me, man. That's awesome. Good for him.
Yes.
All right, so that's it for Game 1, guys. So now we are moving on to Game 2 between me and Jeff, and we will have that shortly for you. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Foundry. Grail Foundry.